Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan. Good day, Dr. Udi Samanhudi, SPD MPD, as a lecturer in academic speaking course, and all of my dearest friends. I'm Glory Maria Siburian, an exchange student from the Campus Merdeka activities who is currently studying at Sultan Ageng Tirtayasa University. Here I will discuss about gender equality in Indonesia. Human rights are a set of rights inherent in human beings from birth that must be protected and upheld. One human right is limited by other human rights. It has been stated in the Constitution, Article 28(8)(j), which regulates human rights. In this way, it can be seen that human rights are very important so that protection or sanction are needed for perpetrators of human rights violations. Human rights are universal, that is, they do not discriminate against race, ethnicity, religion, or gender. Discussing equality of rights in gender or sex, in essence, gender is distinguished between men and women, where each has rights attached to both. However, in reality, women are often seen as weak and inferior to men. This sentiment exists because of the people mindset regarding women who only take care of the house, and is not uncommon for a woman to have a higher education. Therefore, it is not uncommon for women human rights to be violated, such as violence, harassment, and rape of women. This is very detrimental to women and can damage their future. Cases of violence against women are rampant and even become international cases. This has led to widespread demands for gender equality and equal rights for both men and women. The government finally heard the long struggle of women in equalizing their rights. As for several regulations that regulate the protection of women's rights, such as the Criminal Code (KUHP), Law No. 1 of 1974 concerning marriage, and Law No. 23 of 2004 concerning the elimination of domestic violence (UU PKDRT). Rahayu, the Law Human Rights Hak Asasi Manusia (HAM) 2012-269. However, the regulations that have been arranged in such a way do not seem to prevent perpetrators of violence against women. The annual record of violence against women reported by Komnas Perempuan in 2019 reported 431,471 cases of violence against women. Violence against women is carried out directly and indirectly. In the midst of this increasingly advanced technological development, much violence against women is carried out online or digitally, such as cyber hacking, impersonation, cyber stalking, cyber harassment, and so on. This proves that digital media can be a way or a vehicle for spreading violence against women. Fortunately, Komnas Perempuan recommends protecting women who are victims of online gender-based violence (KBGO) for violence, making efforts such as revising Law No. 11 of 2008 concerning electronic information and transaction, and Law No. 44 of 2008 concerning pornography. And when handling cases of online gender-based sexual violence, the Indonesian police must use the perspective of victims of KBGO violence. At least when a woman experiences an act of violence, he knows what effort he has to make in order to get fair treatments towards her. Seeing that high number of cases sexual violence against women, many parties are demanding the DPR RI to draft a law that provides protection for victims of sexual violence and include in the National Legislation Program or Prolegnas. Then the DPR responded to this push with the entry of the bill on the elimination of sexual violence (PKS). According to Ratna Batara Munti, a coordinator of the Pro-Women Prolegnas Working Network (CKP3), state that there are 5 points that the government and DPR should focus on regarding the PKS bill. First, the affirmation of sexual violence into 9 forms, namely sexual harassment, sexual exploitation, forced contraception, forced abortion, forced marriage, rape, forced prostitution, sexual slavery, and sexual torture. And second, legal procedures including the evidentiary system must be sensitive and based on the experience of the victim. Third, provide integrated legal service for victims. Fourth, giving recognition and always prioritizing the rights of victims and being aware of the state's obligation to fulfill and protect victims' rights. Fifth, there must be an emphasis on the PKS bill so that it can change the paradigm of cases of sexual violence in society. This indicates that the ratification of the PKS bill is very important. With the existence of the PKS bill, it is hoped that it can create a deterrent effect for perpetrators of sexual violence. For women who are used to being victims of sexual violence, they will also receive protection against treatment that is not good and reduce the dignity of women and their families. Because it is not uncommon to find sexual violence in rural areas where there is still a minimum awareness of the law so that the victim is afraid to complain and is usually only resolved in a family manner, such as being forced to marry or something else. But without realizing it, this treatment had a very bad impact on the mental and physical health of the victim. Therefore, in addition to the ratification of the PKS bill, maximizing the appropriate rehabilitation and recovery function for victims of sexual violence is also a driving force for the urgency to review the PKS bill to be hastened. Because it doesn't only affect the victim physically but also mentally, which requires maximum rehabilitation and recovery and requires quite a long time. This further emphasize that the ratification of the PKS bill must be ratified immediately. The RUU PKS in the context of rape as sexual violence in general has minimum and maximum punishment stipulated in Articles 108 to Article 115 RUU PKS, where the main punishment that is threatened is imprisonment with a minimum and maximum limit, accompanied by additional funds in the form of the compensation, social work, special coaching, and revocation of custody. Apart from that, the PKS bill also regulates that the right of victims and their families. Article 22, paragraph 1 say that victims have the right to receive treatment, protection, and recovery. In Article 22, paragraph 2, it is also stated that the state is obligated to fulfill the right of victims, so that it does not only carry out settlements amicably, but the state must be present to ensure that the rights of victims are fulfilled. The PKS bill also regulates the obligation and prohibition for law enforcement officials who handle cases of sexual violence, starting from the process of reporting, investigation, prosecution, trials to education as regulated in Articles 52 to Article 78. If we look at it, the PKS bill is a way out or a solution to various problems of sexual violence. The PKS bill can also fill the legal void regarding cases of sexual violence. Because the PKS bill can be broadened, it does not only discuss sanction or punishment for perpetrators of sexual violence, but also regulates the right of victims to protect themselves after sexual violence has occurred. Therefore, it is necessary to emphasize the ratification of the PKS bill so that it is immediately ratified. Okay, that is all from me. Sorry if there is an error in the pronunciation of words. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan. Good day.